Right, after a slight hiatus, I thought I would do a video. Obviously, that's why you're watching this, or somebody's watching it, even if it's just a bot or whatever. Anyway, let's get down to the meat and potatoes of this exciting video. He says, yeah, this is a bit of a Sega sort of blowout, really, in respect of ODE devices. ODE devices, optical something emulation, isn't it? Optical disc emulation, I think. Or am I just making that up? I did do a video. Christ, I think I did a video some time ago where I showed you that I bought a mode, Terra Onion mode. I didn't do a video, although I might have mentioned it on one of my live streams, that I also bought a GDEMU. So I've got a Dreamcast and I've got a Saturn. In fact, I've got two Dreamcasts and I've got two Saturns, but that's by the by. And I suppose the real reason I bought the mode was really because of the Dreamcast, if I'm being honest. I'd went and ordered a GDEMU, got let down by the supplier in China. Yeah, gave me a right load of cock and bull story and said they'd reposted the item, it hadn't been delivered, they'd reposted it. Oh yeah, it's on its way, we'll give you a tracking. Still never turned up. Anyway, so I ponied up for a mode, and anyone that knows, I'm not going to go into a vast amount of detail about these devices because there's so much information on the net, but I will tell you some odds and sods and some various other small mods I've done to these consoles as well. Yeah, it went for a mode. And they're not very cheap, are they? I think landed with taxes in the UK, it was something like £160 or something for the mode, but because it's dual functional, it will work with the, well, actually it's tri-functional, isn't it? Because the mode works with the PS1 as well as the Saturn and the Dreamcast. But it's the kind of device you're not really going to want to keep swapping around between consoles. I know some people do that, but it's a bit of a ball ache. Yeah, so I bought it really for the Dreamcast and then thought, well, actually, I could actually swap it around in the Saturn as well. I wouldn't mind moving away from the optical disc on the Saturn. I suppose more so than the Dreamcast, but anyway. I ended up trying the mode in the Dreamcast because it was the easiest console to mod between that and the Saturn, I think. Yeah, tried it in Dreamcast. I'm really, really impressed with it. But because you can't get many other devices for the Saturn, I thought, right, I'm going to take it out of the Dreamcast and put it in the Saturn. And I also then went and ordered a GDEMU clone from another supplier, which this time it turned up. So I've got the GDEMU in the Dreamcast and I've got the mode in the Saturn. So the install for the Dreamcast is pretty neat, and actually I've done a few mods actually to this Saturn. I went and bought another one because I didn't want to tack my launch day Japanese one that I'd got, that I bought on launch back in whenever it was, 1997 was it, or 8, something like that. I didn't want to butcher that one in case I knackered it up, so I've kept that as it is, but I have actually changed the PSU in my Japanese Saturn. I put a PICO PSU in, and I've done the same to this Saturn here. So I went out and bought a PAL Saturn. Wasn't bothered whether or not it was Jap or UK. Get me words out. My brain stopped working. So that is effectively the console with the mods that I've done. So I've got to get me, there we go. I've got the PICO PSU there. Bought off eBay. It was about, I think I paid about £47 for that, but it came with a pretty heavy duty external PSU as well. You know, are these 9 volt, 5 volt, I don't know. Anyway, 12 volt even. Yeah, 12 volt, but I've got a external PSU down there, but that came with it, and that's why the price was high. You can buy it without the external PSU, and it's just a normal 12 volt PSU, but it's a pretty funky one. So yeah, so I bought that. That was really easy to fit. You take the old PSU out, you basically just slot this in and connect up your existing loom that was there ready for the original power supply. No soldering required on that at all. And there's the GDEMU. So that is, again, one of the clones. This one is version 5.15B, manufactured in 2018. Can't remember how much that cost me now, but it wasn't a great deal. And I've got a 256 gigabyte SD card in there that's absolutely fully loaded. And I'll do a quick sort of a quick run through of the content on that in another part of this video. Again, just to run you through. But the PSU, real good bit of kit. Reduces the heat. You can get problems with the PSUs with caps failing and so forth, so I just thought I'd swap that out for the price it was. But this actual Dreamcast had some problems that I didn't know about. It was sold as fully working, and I didn't actually buy it that long ago. It was sometime this year. And I plugged it in and tried it, got a video signal from it, and it was absolutely fine. Come to actually try it with the GDEMU, and the controller didn't work. I thought it was a controller knackered, so I plugged in another controller, and that didn't work either. I thought, something wrong here. Looked on the internet, and apparently there is a common fault, or a fault. I don't know if it's a common fault, but there are faults that can happen with the controller board here. And it is normally a fuse, which I've actually replaced it. It looks different than that. It looks like a resistor, actually. The original part looks like a resistor. And I've swapped that out. So I've put a new fuse in. I actually swapped the battery out as well, so I put a normal CR, is it a CR32036 or whatever they are, but a normal battery. Took the rechargeable one out and also replaced the cap. You can actually buy these kits with those 3 items on from eBay. It's about £3.50. So if you do get a problem with your controller port, it's not knackered. It can be fixed. It can be fixed easy. It's an easy job to replace those parts. So I swapped all those out and it resolved the problem straight away, so no problem at all. So yeah, that's it really for the GDEMU. Like I said, there's a lot of information on there. I actually think for the price of the GDEMU clones and what they do, it's a fantastic investment if you're into your Dreamcast. You know, because they can be quite noisy with the disk drives. And I suspect they're going to fail at some point. You know, they're going to start failing. I have got a spare, I've got a spare Dreamcast drive that I bought some time ago. But now the GDEMU works fine on this version of the Dreamcast. It doesn't work on my Japanese one because it's an original launch console, and it has problems with these boards. Apparently they do work fine, but they can end up knackering the Dreamcast itself. I thought, well, I'm not risking that, so hence why it's in the UK Dreamcast, and I went out and bought that. So I'll now quickly cut some video now, just showing you GDEMU and the I suppose the range of games I've got on that, and then I'll go straight over onto the Saturn next. Right, just before I fire up the Dreamcast, I just want to show something to everybody. Well, not to everybody, but to people that are interested in it. In respect to using the GDEMU, there are people that are having problems with loading up a load of games. The more games you put on an SD card, if you don't use a certain utility to build that SD card, it will not load up instantly. It will take, you know, anywhere between 2 to 4 minutes to actually load up the game menu every time you want to actually go back to the game menu in the GDEMU, which is a bit of a pain in the backside. I want to do a cold boot, or actually a warm boot here. Well, cold boot's off. A cold boot to show you how quickly, sorry, it boots up. The memory card's got something like 350 odd games on it. It's fully loaded. And I've used a utility called GDEMU Card Manager. If you put that into Google, you should be able to locate the GitHub and download it. And the instructions are really straightforward for you to use it. But that was the most reliable SD card manager for the GDEMU that I found. So I'll do a cold boot now. So I'll just power up. I won't press anything. It takes some time. So here we go. Click in. Now don't worry about the flickering. You can see at the top of the SEGA, well, at the top of the Dreamcast. Bang! Right, straight in. I couldn't even get my sentence out. It was that quick at booting up. So that's basically gone straight in. That's as quick as you'd want it. And I'm just going to scroll down now just to show you how many games are on this SD card, so you can see. Must be here forever. Nearly there, promise. 351 titles in total. Now some of those are multi-game disc, multi-disc games. Not many of them though, but it's about 340 plus games on there, you know, apart from a couple of utilities and so forth. So that is the, you know, that's my SD card on the GDEMU, and it is pretty mint. I'm just going to load up one of the Atomic Wave games, and we'll have a look at Guilty Gear X. Load that up, but it will load instantly after it obviously goes through the boot process. Yes, I was saying the flickering that you can see on the Dreamcast capture isn't anything to do with my Dreamcast. It's because I'm using the VGA splitter, and it's obviously not high bandwidth enough, even though it said on the box it was. But that's eBay for you. But it's absolutely fine for, you know, for capturing. It's not on my. In fact, I can't actually see it on my monitor. So I've got a VGA monitor, so I'm running two devices on my screen via capture OBS through the OSSC and the VGA splitter. But if I was playing it, I'd be playing it on my PC Super VGA monitor, which is up there, and that's hung. That's weird. The first time that's hung must be. That's just. Let's be saying it. GDEMU's awesome. Right, let's get straight into this. Get there in a minute. Right, let's go past that. Chop chop. Let's just skip that. Right. And, you know, it plays absolutely fine, as you would expect. Oh, Christ, I got the... Right, hopefully that hasn't knackered up the audio on that video. I just had my volume up then, so you wouldn't have heard anything. Jeez, right, anyway, but yeah, it's hopefully you heard that, and haven't got to record all this all over again. But yeah, it plays absolutely fine. I don't know why I'm looking at that monitor for, it's because I can see it in my peripheral vision. And I shouldn't be playing off that, but I want to be facing the camera. But it's absolutely fine. It all works hunky dory. It's just a quick bash it. And that on the VGA looks absolutely mega. It really does. It's so. Dreamcast is a right bit of kit on the right display. I'm going to play that on the OBS. Just a shed load of input lag on there. But yeah, so, and if I want to turn back to the main menu, I can from here. Just, oh, you can't actually do that in Thomas White ones, that's weird. Ah, right, so you got to do a hard helmet boot. Oh well, never mind. But, so, that's the Dreamcast, and I just wanted to mention about the card manager software and show you booting up all those games super duper quickly. So we'll move on to the Saturn now. So next we come on to the Saturn. Actually, I should have done these the other way around, shouldn't I? Because the Saturn come before the Dreamcast. And not if it makes any difference. So Saturn, Sega Saturn. Again, this is a PAL Saturn. I do have a Japanese Saturn. Why haven't I put this in the Japanese Saturn? I don't know actually. Again, I think because I didn't want to butcher that one, I just wanted to keep that a standard or stock console. So this has the Terra Onion mode installed, and I've also put a Pico drive, a Pico PSU as well in that. So that's the install basically. So get my hand straight. So there's the Pico PSU. Can't remember how much that was actually. I think the Saturn PSUs are dearer, or it was dearer than the Dreamcast. Could be wrong. But about £40. About £40. And I've just installed this morning. And I've got the mode. Obviously the mode's there. Very, very straightforward to install. Again, no soldering required on it. But you do have to take the bottom frame of the Saturn out, which is the grounding heat shield, whatever it's for. To actually take off the pegs on this version of the Saturn for the CD drive. You take those off, and then you can mount the mode flat then on the same plate. But again, not a hard job to do. Very straightforward, and it's plug and play. I've actually installed a drive on the mode. Mode will take all sorts of storage devices. You can install a hard drive, you can do USB, and you can also do memory card slot on there as well. And I think you can use all three, apart from the fact, obviously, if you've got a drive on there, you can't use the USB, but I think you can still use the SD card with the drive. So you can't use all three at once, can you? That was stupid me saying that. That ain't going to work. Physically, it's not going to work. But anyway. When it comes to the mode, there's not really a fat lot to say about it. You just plug it in and off you go. On the hard drive, I've virtually got a full Saturn ISO set on there. So that's why I wanted to use the hard drive, so I wouldn't have fitted it on any of the SD cards that I've got. But yeah, it's a pretty solid device, to be honest. And it worked first time, which is a bonus when you're fitting these kinds of things. You fit something and it doesn't work. But I did the PSU and the mode all at once, and it all worked absolutely fine. And again, it's nice having these Pico drives in these devices because they keep the heat down. And again, with the Saturn PSUs, I'm not sure if they are vulnerable to failing. I didn't do that much research, or did I? That might have been the reason why I actually went to get a Pico drive. But anyway, so yeah, that's about it. Again, there's not that much really to say, so I'm just going to cut to a short bit of video then on the actual menu and the games. We'll boot a few games up and so forth. Right, so we'll do a similar thing as we did with the Dreamcast. We'll do a cold boot. I've got a 4 meg cart in my Sega Saturn because I just want to make sure that it works. Well, the mode works with the 4 meg card, should do. I can't see no reason why not, but we'll just run through a quick check. So we'll fire it up. Oh, I haven't changed the battery on this one, which I need to put a new battery in, but And again, I've got this on my CRT, my BVM, instead of the PC monitor at the same time as streaming. So I've got it on 2 monitors because I'm greedy. But it should boot straight into the mode menu. Well, actually, it's got the action replay cartridge in for the memory expansion. Start game. We want to start game with no cheats enabled. Yeah, weirdly enough, I've just put the Japanese, my Japanese full meg card in, and it wouldn't fit right. I don't know why. I didn't want to force it because I broke something. But anyway, that's coming to the mode menu. On the Saturn, it's actually in interlaced mode. Pardon the pun. And yeah, we've got absolutely shed loads of games on here. That's a hell of a lot of Saturn gameage. So let's Street Fighter 3.0, because this only works with a 4 meg cart, so it won't boot up otherwise. But again, mode's very, very quick and responds quickly. Chop chop. There we go. So it works with a 4 meg card, as you would expect. But again, loading is very quick, as you would expect. Just have a quick intro to it. I think it's got to load all the characters into memory, or a certain amount into memory. So it takes a little bit longer to get into the game. Arcade mode.
Select your character. Select your fight.
Played this for ages. Pretty good game. This is 03 or Alpha 3. And I've actually set the settings this time correctly on my OSSC. I haven't used it for some time, so the Dreamcast image that's been captured wasn't as sharp as what it could be. I had it in the wrong setting, but this should be a lot sharper, which it is. And it works fine. These Saturn pads are amazing, aren't they, really? So good. But yeah, now to get back to the main menu on the mode, you have to do A, B, C and start. But it takes you once, I think it takes you back to the game. And if you do it again, it takes you back to the mode menu.
Street Fighter 03.
There's. Let's try again. Yeah, here we go. Make sure it all goes back in. And that's basically the mode. Like I said, there's a lot of information on the internet. I'm not going to go through the ins and outs of this. Yeah, this will. I'll enjoy getting back into some Saturn games now because of the ease of using this. And actually, to be perfectly honest, the reason why I bought both mode devices really was for streaming. So it was easier to stream, and it's just quicker. But of course, it's just as much of a benefit, well, more of a benefit having these devices and not having to worry about all the. I think this is the latest version, isn't it? This is the Circuit Edition Japan one. Is the one that's the best graphically. No, that's not saying a fat lot, is it, for Daytona? But it's still an awesome game. Let's just play a little bit of Daytona music, can't we? You know, I wouldn't be doing Sega justice, would I, if I didn't have a little bit of Daytona music. That's in interlace for some reason. There we go. It does look a bit dog rough, doesn't it? It looks better on the CRT. These are the old scan lines. But yeah, anyway, so that is the mode for the Saturn. Again, like I said before, I hope the video has been of some interest to some people, and I will certainly look to do a stream, probably next weekend actually, on one of these consoles. But yeah, see you again soon. Bye for now.